It's been a while since we had Devour Dream Cube boss, or the one with the weakened state. And the first part is going to be Kasumi's boss. Add damage increase, plus damage increase, the assassin damage increase. Then for the gimmick, when you use a buff, your healing or defense skill, you remove the curse stack from yourself. And that will give the boss defense debuff 12% after 3 stacks, so 36% defense debuff. Then at the maximum stack of 3, you get 30% hammer damage taken. So here's the team. I want to say all in this side, but not really. I think I can test a bit more stuff, but yeah. So I'm using Futaba here, not Anj. And I'm also not using Dionysus. So this team is like the weaker side, technically, but this side scores more. So that's a bit funny. Maybe I could use twins here, maybe, and put Dionysus. Maybe that will give me more total overall score. But let's look at the DPS. Kasumi, this is a Mindscape. She's running Wisdom Virtue. And you need at least 19.5% crit and 4.6% pierce, so very low stats this time around because we have access to a lot of crit and pierce because we're using turbo. Then my Kasumi is A0 R0. The next up is turbo, one of the buffers. If you don't have turbo, you can just run twins here because twins also has 10% pierce, which is quite good already. Obviously turbo has more pierce, but you already have low defense debuff here, so in the end I don't need 4.6% pierce from Kasumi. This is a Mindscape. It's running Recreation Reconciliation, which is A0 R0. Then of course for code, just code her to A2 from the B selector. This is a Mindscape. She's running Departure Control for defense debuff, and she's A2 R0. Yeah, our Navigator's going Futaba. Futaba, generally better. Okay, the thing is, Futaba, Anj is still better for Kasumi than Futaba, but if you use Anj here, your other side will suffer more, because the other side most likely will want Anj more than Kasumi. So that's why we use Futaba here. It's all about the combinations and the score, total overall score. This is a maxed out Mindscape, and she's running Resolve Label for defense debuff, and she's A0 R0. For Dagger, Glimmer is enough because we have a lot of pierce and defense debuff already, unless you somehow cannot hit 4.6% pierce. If you can, then something is really wrong. First persona, we have Shausa, you just need Rakunda. Then we have Throne, you just need Rebellion. Then Yonen Janosik for Tarukaja, and also the Mark for even more defense debuff. Then turn order, this is pretty much fixed. 1, 2, 3, 4. First turn, you guard with Turbo. I said guard while I press Persona. Guard, then we guard with Thunder. Then now you just skill 2 Kasumi. I know I'm A2, I can just guard, but yeah, because I can, I just do skill 2. We do skill 2 when I buff up Kasumi because we're gonna use 3 skill 1s in a row. Use to charge up her step stacks. And skill 1 doesn't really do much damage, so we have to buff it to make sure that we break it. Then Futaba can do a skill 2 now. We're not breaking this turn, we're just gonna do skill 2 a bit earlier so that we have more time to charge the Data Stone. And then you guard. Then you can use Shausa Highlight to debuff. And then Rakunda from Shausa. And then you use a code skill 3, One Wonder. The reason for this is to charge out Code's weapon for the 5% attack. It stacks us at 3 times, so the earlier we charge it, the more damage, the sooner we can do more damage. Then we do another skill 1 here. Now we have 2 stacks. Then we can do an out here. It's just to burn through a bit more turns, more actions. Do skill 1, we don't use Futaba yet. Then we do skill 3. Just main target Kasumi. And then we can do Janosik Tarukaja. Buff the attack. Then you can code skill 1 to shock. Then you want to break with the skill 1, another skill 1. With this skill 1 we have max 3 stacks. Now we have the maximum amount of damage buff and stuff. Then we go into the Masquerade mode. Then double skill 1, give a defense. Then you can do turbo highlight. Buff. And then skill 2. Then I'll use a Throne Rebellion. It's to buff up crit and also the crit damage, not crit damage, the damage. It's 15, I think, 15 or 12%. Then skill 2. Rockport. Because war off already. Then use skill 2 here with turbo. Because turbo is an extra action later, so turbo can do extra hit. But his Kasumi can do the auto skill 1 extra hit. 2 more damage. With double skill 3. Then we start, go into the masquerade. And then you press out for extra action. So a lot of stuff to press here. Then we skill 1. And then skill 3. So this skill 1 will force this one, the damage. Then skill 3, this will force another one. This is a good turn to force it because you have double skill 3 active. P70k is decent. Then we code highlight. We can code highlight now because of extra action from turbo. This will also buff up Wonder Strauss attack for a little bit more damage. Then at this point, you can check your crit, you plus 32%, 12% for virtue, 10% from shock, 10% for highlight. You already overcap by quite a bit. Then make sure your Kasumi is more than 50% health, so that the 12% crit from the virtue card actually activates. Then core skill 3 for some good damage. The core is A2, so the skill 3 actually does give a 2-turn damage buff. 7 decent. And Kasumi highlight. And then skill 3. Final hit. Should be 8185 around there. 182, wow, damage variance is rough. So next up is the Haru boss, and I say Haru boss but we're not actually gonna use Haru. Special effect is more armor accuracy and more damage. Then more super damage, more side damage. Then the gimmick here is that every time you do some hit, you increase pierce rate, increase damage. When you do your calculation, make sure you put 10% pierce, because you get it for free from the boss. So here is the team. I say I'm not using Haru because Haru scores worse. You know power creep is real and the boss that is designed for DPS isn't best for the DPS. If you don't have Firecracker Rin, you can use Akechi. Akechi go around the same as Rin, but I'm gonna use Rin because I haven't used her in a while for a video. So let's go through. This is her Mindscape. She's running Excitement and Strife, and you need at least 45% crit. For Pierce rate I think even 0% is fine because we have a lot of defense debuff already. And then we have Anj, which gives a lot of pierce, like 30% pierce. Then Rin's best support, of course, Matoi for the technical stuff, technical precision. This is a Mindscape. She's running Faith and Fertility. Then Twins, our support. If you don't have Twins or you use Twins on the other side already, you can use Tempest Wind. I wouldn't really use Turbo here because it's a lot of pierce already. Maybe Tempest Wind is good. Helps you reach the crit cap easier. Just now I said 45% crit, right? If you use Tempest Wind, you just need to minus 17. Then you can maybe swap your crit rate card to crit multiplier card. And Twins are running Activity Power. And my Twins is A0R1, one dual on a weapon. Then we have Anj. Anj of course very good for... I mean, Anj is actually really good for DoD in general because they favor the burst turn. And then Anj gives like a burst, another burst attack. Then she's running Home and Neighbor. Then Dagger, we have Purgatory for the fire buff. Then Persona, first one we have Cert. We just need Marakunda here. And also Magidine to burn because we're not rolling Throne here because we used Throne on the other side already. Then Dionysus for Rebellion and Revolution. And Dominion, we just need Cohesion for the buff. Then turn order 1, 2, 3, actually it doesn't matter that much. But I still prefer Twins to be number 1 for the skill amplification. First turn, you card with Twins. Then you card with Matoi. And then Wonder, you're gonna use an Agi. Actually you'll burn here. We don't have Throne here, so we need another way to burn. And the fire attack also helps charge the Purgatory Dagger from Wonder. Now skill 1. and just tank, which should be fine. So if you have a Akechi, you can use a Akechi here. Akechi does about the same for me. But Akechi definitely wants Anj more than Futaba, because Akechi cannot actually do weakness. Then you side nuke. Then ski 1 from Matoi, this is for the scout. Then we can Matoi highlight. Then Marakunda for defense debuff. Then ski 1 again. Make sure you don't Q yet. Q next turn. Tank, just don't hit Vin. It's a bit low. Okay, we should be fine. Then we can do Anj ski 1. And then fire ice to buff. Then we guard. We don't want to use Q3 first just in case we kill. We can delay a little bit. Then we do Rebellion, buff Rin, and then use skill 2. Pray for as many DOT as possible. Oh wow, I think I didn't get a single one. That's crazy. Damn, that's actually crazy. Wow. Nice luck. Then we go skill 3. Yeah, we just continue until they reset. Then the fire ice. Skill 3. And then Matoi skill 3. Then Revolution, buff more crit. Then skill 1. Very unfortunate that we don't have a single DOT. The DOT can do like 150,000, which is pretty nice. Then skill 1. Then you can Dakapo Rin. Remember to do it, sometimes you might forget. Dakapo. Then side nuke. Then we skill 1. The scout should already be there, even if you don't get it there, it's fine. Then we cohesion, because caught us for 3 turns. Then you activate the skill 3, go to the enhanced state. Then you check your crit. I've kept quite a bit, mostly because of the skill amplification on the twins. Then you can do a highlight here to buff yourself. Then you can attack. Then you can do one more. It'll be 5 million. I went 3. Actually, I might get a new record here. That's strange, that's without any DOT, that's funny.